What cars did you drive back in 2010? A Ford Focus? A Toyota Auris? A Volkswagen Golf? 2010 was the year when the Nissan Leaf debuted, a model considered the first mass-produced electric car. The Leaf generated so much interest that it won the World and European Car of the Year awards for 2011. Today I'm in France as the juror for the World Car Awards, the same group of international journalists that crowned the Leaf 15 years ago. My goal is to get acquainted with the new generation of Nissan's electric car and share my first impressions with you. So let me take you for a first drive in the new Nissan Leaf.
At first glance, the third-generation Nissan Leaf looks completely different from the previous two generations. The compact hatchback has transformed into a crossover. This makes sense for two reasons. First, crossovers are a popular segment which, one could say, Nissan created when it launched the Qashqai in 2007. Secondly, the raised body of a crossover is perfect for concealing the battery in the floor. This allows for more battery without compromising the interior space. If the new Leaf looks somewhat familiar, it's because it's a miniature Nissan Ariya, a compact electric crossover which Nissan launched some 4 years ago. The new Leaf has shrunk compared to its predecessor. It's almost 15 centimeters shorter than the hatchback it replaces. Meanwhile, it is similar in size to the Hyundai Kona and the Kia EV3, but larger than the Volvo EX30.
The original Nissan Leaf had a 24 kilowatt-hour battery and a very optimistic range estimate of about 160 kilometers. If memory serves me right, I got maybe 120 kilometers out of it. Today, a used first-generation model will sell for less than 10,000 euro and can still achieve about 80 kilometers of range. Furthermore, it's relatively easy to retrofit a slightly larger battery from a facelifted model. Unfortunately, the Leaf community also remembers the first generation, not just for its polarizing design, but also for problems with the air-cooled battery, which quickly degraded in hotter climates. The third generation finally features a liquid-cooled battery, and the thermal management software preconditions the battery for rapid charging based on the route planned in the navigation. Also, if you don't plan your route and you just want to charge quickly, you can press a button and precondition the battery manually.
The new Leaf is available with a 52 or 75 kilowatt-hour NMC traction battery and can charge at 105 or 150 kilowatts respectively. This translates into a rapid charging time of about 30 minutes from 20 to 80% state of charge. Yes, 20 to 80, not 10 to 80, so not so rapid after all. The CHAdeMO socket has been replaced by CCS in Europe. In the US, there is a NACS port on one side and a J1772 for AC charging on the other. The claimed range is up to 436 kilometers or 604 kilometers respectively in the combined cycle. Nissan also provides an estimated highway range at 130 km per hour, which is 224 km or 330 km, depending on the battery size. I won't be able to verify this today, but at the end I'll provide an average energy consumption and the conditions as well as the distance I covered. This will allow us to estimate the actual range.
The Leaf feels very light to drive around the city. In my opinion, it's even too light, but maybe it's something I'd get used to. Today there was no time as I had to escape the Parisian traffic jams and head into the countryside. On the way, I covered several dozen kilometers on the motorway. The soundproofing was good enough. The semi-autonomous driving ProPilot system worked well as well. It's nothing fancy, but gets the job done. The quietness in the cabin is partly due to excellent aerodynamic properties, which should in turn allow for lower energy consumption and therefore a longer range. More about that in a moment. Meanwhile, here's an interesting fact. The Eurospec Leaf has market-specific wing mirrors. Nissan says it's because in Europe we drive faster and therefore we need more aerodynamic wing mirrors than in Japan or the US. Why not fit digital mirrors? Apparently they're simply too expensive. I turned off the highway into the country roads and I found that the Leaf handled surprisingly well. The suspension is tuned for comfort, so it handles bumps with ease that the French brands were once famous for. And that's despite this being on rather large wheels. Visibility is good, the A-pillars are relatively thin and set far enough from the wing mirrors. Rear visibility is also better than one could expect judging by the car's shape. Note that there is no rear wiper. Nissan claims that the airflow will clear the water droplets from the rear window, and whatever debris from the road or swirling behind the vehicle will not go above this little ducktail spoiler thing on the boot lid. Now, the weather is quite nice today, so unfortunately I won't be able to test this for you. Disabling ESA and the driver attention monitor system, which are somewhat annoying, is very easy. It can be assigned to a personal mode, which is 2 clicks on the steering wheel. So that's a good thing. At first glance, the Leaf's interior resembles what we've seen in the Ariya. So there is an open cockpit design. There are 2 flat large screens and a center console, but here the console doesn't slide back and forth and the screens are connected into this one flat unit. Below them is the climate control panel. I know it's touch sensitive, but still this is better than having it on the screen. When I reviewed the Ariya, Android Auto was only wired. Here it's finally wireless. While I'm driving back to Nissan headquarters, I can tell you a little bit more about what I noticed here. First good thing is that compared to the Nissan Ariya, they brought out things like the heated steering wheel up here, so I don't have to click into the climate menu to actually see it. There is also a physical button down here over my left knee. Also positive things, physical buttons on the steering wheel to adjust cruise control, Pro Pilot, or whatever it's called here. You can use it to adjust what's being displayed on this screen as well as on that screen, but pretty much on this screen. Here it's better to use your fingers or voice commands, since this is Google enabled. I can have my sat nav here, and of course on the heads-up display. We have e-pedal, which is like full region braking, one pedal driving thing, or we have adjustable region braking. You can adjust it with the paddle shifters, but you can also set it to automatic, so automatic adaptive, so it will slow down based on the situation in front of you. The interior up here, you know, where it's like close to the touch and close to the eye, looks very nice. What I'm not a fan of is the rough, scratchy plastic down here. I wouldn't mind it being scratchy if it wasn't loud, because if you throw your keys in here or under the armrest, they will rattle, so that's not ideal. There is a storage compartment down here, which pops down like that. I don't know what you would store in there, but yeah, it's there. And this one works using gravity, unlike the electric one in the Ariya. Also, this one doesn't change into a tray, it's just a storage compartment. And then there's your glove box in front of the passenger. A wireless charger, which works. And yeah, this whole Google enabled thing, it's absolutely brilliant. I remember how bad it was in the Ariya where they used their own sat-nav, and now it's just a much better system. Route planning with charging works much better. You can see how long you will spend at a charger, how fast the charger is, how many chargers are available or occupied, and this is just a game changer. I think they realized that they just suck at infotainment and they'll use something from an outside provider. So that's great. Anyway, back to Paris we go.
At the end of my route from Nissan Paris HQ to the countryside and back, which included some motorway driving as well as a lot of country roads, I got 16.6 kilowatt-hours per 100 kilometers. My average speed was what I would normally see in a car after driving it for a week, albeit usually it would include much more city driving. Here I drove more on B roads. This gives us about 450 kilometers range and slots in nicely between Nissan's claimed top range of up to 604 kilometers and the 130 kilometers per hour motorway range, which Nissan estimates at 330 kilometers. Of course, your mileage may vary.
Nissan is very proud of its panoramic roof with liquid crystals that, depending on the setting, can be see-through or become opaque. Now, this has helped save weight because the retractable cover with the mechanism, electric motor, etc. weighs like 7 kilograms, and it also allowed for a bit more headroom inside, 3 centimeters exactly, and these 3 centimeters were then subtracted from the height of the car, so the car is therefore more aerodynamic. Now, I'm 175 centimeters tall, I'm sitting behind the driver's seat set to my driving position, and I do have leg room, or knee room should I say, but foot room is tight to say the least, and here the seat is slid all the way back and very tight indeed. Now, there are some air vents back here, no third zone climate control, but we have adjustable air vents, we have 2 USB-C ports, we've got door pockets and some cup holders in the armrest. Now, the floor is flat, and one thing I noticed, I said something on the lines of that these wide across foot mats in cars are the work of the devil. And Nissan listened either to me or to its customers who drove the Ariya with those big floor mats, and has divided the floor mats into 2. So it's now easier to pick them up, take them out and clean them without spilling everything around the car interior. So they're listening. Also, there are a couple of pockets in the seat backs, so that's useful. You can put your map here or a tablet or something.
The boot capacity is 437 liters, like in the Ariya or the Qashqai. Also here, Nissan offers this 2-piece false floor job, which can be used as a divider. There is still some space for your charging cables on the side of the boot. At the bottom is a styrofoam insert for a repair kit. While there is no frunk, Nissan explains this choice with maximizing passenger space. It's a better explanation than whatever BMW or Mercedes tried to tell us about clients not having to open the bonnet, which resulted in creative windscreen washer fluid fillers. Also, the roof rails are real. The Nissan Leaf can be equipped with a roof rack mounted either on the rails, which are available on higher trims, or using suction mounts for lesser versions. The Leaf can also tow up to 975 kilograms.
A little Nissan Easter egg, so the 3-dimensional rear lamp design here on the top trim. This is 2 elements, this is 3 elements, and this means Nissan. A little Easter egg like this. And this motif is repeated around 30 times inside and out around the car.
At the time of recording, prices and trim levels for the 2026 Nissan Leaf in continental Europe have not yet been announced. In the US, prices start at around $31,500. In the UK, it will be in the low 30-something thousand pounds, or around 36,000 euro. That's for the smaller battery base model.
The third generation Nissan Leaf is certainly a leap forward compared to the previous two generations. A lot will depend on the price because in terms of quality and usability, the new Nissan Leaf makes a very good first impression. If by the time I publish this review the price has been announced, either the Leaf will sell like hotcakes or Nissan should really reconsider the Leaf's pricing strategy. So, dear viewer from the future, let me know how it turned out and what do you think about the new Nissan Leaf.
If you like my sarcastic, down-to-earth and possibly mildly amusing car reviews, join me every Friday at 3 p.m. Central European Time, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video as it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.